that Burundi has announced it's going to withdraw 5,400 troops from Amisom. They're saying that they're not being paid. The European Union says that in fact, the soldiers are being paid, just the government is not able to take a cut of it because they believe the government is in violation of various human rights issues. What does the UN, which itself has peacekeepers, what does it think about this standoff? Does it believe that it's legitimate for a funder of a peacekeeping operation to say we'll pay the people directly so that the government doesn't get a cut, particularly in the case of Burundi where the UN has decided not to use Burundian police officers in CAR?
Well, regarding the question of how these troops are to be paid, that's a matter that needs to be resolved ultimately with the European Union, which is responsible for the payment issue, and with the African Union. So that's not really something for which we would comment on. Of course, we believe that that all troops performing such tasks need to be paid.
But you have, I guess my question is, in the Central African Republic, the UN is still paying the Pierre Nkurunziza government for the use of these 800-some peacekeepers. And you have another major, admittedly not the UN, but the EU saying this is a government that would, predictably use this funding to commit human rights violations. Does the UN disagree?
If we were to receive reports of problems with payments getting to our peacekeeping troops, we would act upon that accordingly. Whenever we pay governments, as a general policy, we do that on the assurance that that money will go to the peacekeeping troops.
Just one final question. What's the UN's understanding of the percentage that's kept by governments before they pass it through to because it's not 100%. I think you know that. So what percentage of withholding is appropriate according to the UN?
That's not something that we calculate or advise on. That's a decision made by different governments. Regarding this, like I said, this particular issue is one ultimately for the European Union and the African Union in their capacities dealing with the African Union mission, AMISOM. Yes.
I wanted to ask you, I've seen there's a letter today by various staff unions to the Secretary General Antonio Guterres about the layoffs in OCHA, numbering them at 170, saying that the unions have since November asked Mr. O'Brien for a variety of information, how it was decided which offices to close and who to lay off, and urging him, to, quote, ensure OCHA discloses the information we've requested, establish a staff management working group, and there's two other bullet points. I wanted to, one, ensure, make sure that you've received it, and two, what does the Secretary General think of this? It seems like it might be the first standoff between staff, workers, and the department under his watch. How should this be resolved, and how are people not going to be injured by the closing of some OCHA offices in various countries?
Well, first of all, this is still something that's very much a work in progress. The budget for the Office on the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs is still under review and will be available on its website when it's released later this month. For the time being, you'll need to contact OCHA for more details. We'll be monitoring this as it unfolds. Of course, our hope is that that any of the concerns by staff will be resolved during this process.
But what's the role, I guess, in even coming up with a final budget? It seems pretty clear from this that at least some in the staff union are dissatisfied with the degree of consultation. Does Antonio Guterres believe that departments, if as others may have to, are engaged in downsizing, that they should consult with their staff or simply announce numbers and then get letters like this?
Obviously, staff consultation is an important part of any such process. But like I said, the budget is still under review.
Sure. I wanted to ask, it's a case that involves two individuals, which has become pretty high profile in Myanmar. There are these two Baptist leaders, one of whom used to show journalists the effects of airstrikes by the government in Shan State, and Fortify Rights has called for the government to say where they are. They've been disappeared. Is the UN aware of it, and who's in sort of monitoring the human rights aspects of Myanmar? Not just a special rapporteur, but is there still a secretariat function as used to be carried out by Mr. Nambiar?
There still is a secretariat function that's being carried out now by the Department of Political Affairs, and I'll check with them whether there's anything to say about this particular case.
Okay, and then this may seem strange, like a small thing, but I was looking at the appointments of the Secretary General, I guess his daily schedule, and for today it just simply says the Secretary General is traveling. Since it's reported that he's in Davos, that he's meeting various people, is this not, maybe the reports are inaccurate?
No, he's not in Davos yet. Today he's traveling to Geneva. And we'll have some events for him in Geneva, including, I believe there's a high-level event that he will be attending along with the President of China, and he'll have a separate meeting with the President of China. He will go to Davos from there.
I guess my question would just be, given that it's a new Secretary Generalship, is it possible, even when he is traveling, to have some details other than just he is traveling?
Oh yeah, we'll try to have some more details. Today is really basically a transit day, but he will be in Geneva, and then we'll get more details, which we can share tomorrow. Good
The
afternoon.
Jeff Sachs question, could I just ask, I'm just asking again, it's been about 10 days.
I don't have anything new on that.
Okay, just on the policy of can a UN official work on somebody's campaign?
What? In terms of the policy,